Hello, everyone. I'm here at season 3, episode 5 with James Resar. You're on the first episode of this podcast, and now a year later, you're back. And man, a lot has happened since then. And I wanted to first start off by asking you've been on this Bishop Kenny team since your freshman year. How much has this team grown since then? Would have been some of the base improvements.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot better. Every starter's returning for the most part, like all of our best players. And they were super young when they first started, but now we kind of learned how to win, and now we're doing really well this year.
Can you talk about learning how to win, like you just mentioned there? What goes into that?
Well, my sophomore year, we started out with some easier games, and they weren't that pretty. We struggled a little bit, but just like I think we started out 5-0 my sophomore year, and then we just got comfortable, and we have that sort of confidence now.
And weeks, I mean, this is crazy. Over the summer, you announced week 2, you broke your leg, played through that the entire season. Did you know that it happened, or did you find that out later?
Yeah, so I broke it the second game, and I thought it was just a contusion, and I didn't go to the doctor. But I went to the doctor, I think week 6, and then it was healed enough at that point where he just told me I had to wear a shin guard and I'd be fine. So played through it.
That reminds me of the story I heard about Tim Tebow at Nice. He did the exact same thing, broke his leg, played through an entire game. Not the 3 after that though. So, the
Yeah.
entire season. That's really impressive, man. And as a quarterback, I asked about the team there, but I think last time we spoke, you had moved on from the fundamentals, and we're trying to learn a little bit more, uh, working more on like some more advanced stuff as a quarterback. What have you improved the most on over this last year?
Um, I just think like this summer we did a lot of 7-on-7, so I'm just kind of seeing how coverages work a lot better, and I'm seeing the game like way different than I did last year.
And what does a typical off season look like for you as a high school football player?
So after our last game, I'll probably take about 2 months off of throwing, and then I'll get into it, and then about January-ish, that's when track starts. So I'm throwing, running, all that weightlifting, and
hmm
then spring football starts up real quick.
Yeah, and you got those spring workouts, summer 7-on-7, and not to mention you're pretty big time recruit. So you got colleges, visits, and I want to ask you about when you first started receiving interest from Iowa and how that process went.
Yeah, so all these coaches, I think we had like 40 come to Kenny and like just kind of meet with me. And I met with Iowa, and then he said that he was going to come to my spring game. So he watched our spring game, and he said that he really liked me and he wanted me to come on a visit during the summer. And that was the best visit that I've taken. Like it was amazing. So
I was at that Penn State game last year, and the atmosphere at Kinnick Stadium is something else. And I think I asked you about it a little bit after you committed, and you mentioned that game day atmosphere just being something else. How big was that to your decision?
it was crazy. I think it was a 6 o'clock game I went to, and we showed up at like 11 o'clock, and there were people like packing around the stadium, and it was crazy.
Yeah, and that game day atmosphere at Kinnick, walking out of the tunnel to Back in Black, and that I think you went to the Cyhawk game too. So that's a whole nother experience there. And what really sold you on the program as a whole?
I during the visit in the summer, I had a really long conversation with both Brian Ferentz and Kirk Ferentz, and they were just the most like honest coaches that I've talked to. Like I knew that they weren't gonna like take advantage of any players or anything. Like I knew that what they wanted for their players was best, and that's what it was.
Kirk, one of the most experienced coaches in college football, and I think he's produced over 80 NFL draft prospects that have gone on to play. It's really impressive resume he's got over in Iowa City, and I can't tell you how excited I am to see you play quarterback for the Hawkeyes. I'm really excited to see these upcoming classes. And Michael Mislinski, your former teammate, now with the Hawkeyes. Did you talk to him at all during this process?
Yeah, he told me like to go where I wanted to, but he said he was so happy that he chose Iowa. It was the best fit for him.
And I want to ask about being on the field for that tradition, the Wave at Iowa, one of the best in college football. Just can you describe that experience for you?
It was pretty special. There were a lot of kids in the hospital, and they like were showing videos. It was just pretty emotional. Yeah.
And does committing pretty early on, because I think most of the time with high school recruits, you see them commit later on in their high school careers. You committed, at the very start of your junior season. Do you feel that takes a little bit of weight off your shoulders after, not having to worry about what coaches are thinking, during your season?
Yeah, I knew that I was gonna commit going into the visit, and I was already expecting it. But after I did it, I just felt like this sense of relief. It was crazy. I've never felt like that before.
And I mean, I can't emphasize how special Iowa is, and you're having a special season right back here at home with Bishop Kenny. You guys off to a 7-1 start. You just had a big time win over your rivals at Episcopal, and they're having a good season too. And I don't know too much about that rivalry, to be honest. So can you talk a little bit about? You're right down the street from the Eagles. Talk about that rivalry between you two.
Yeah, so it's my third year playing it. My freshman year, I didn't play, but they were winning by a lot at halftime, and we came back and almost won, but we lost on the heartbreaker on the last play. And then last year we played, and there was a lot of chippiness when we
Mhm.
played. So then this year we were ready, and they pulled in their buses about 15 minutes before the game, so they wouldn't even practice at our field.
Seriously.
So yeah, it's rough.
Man, 15 minutes before the game. I've seen teams arrive later it towards games, but 15 minutes. That did they even warm up?
They warmed up at their field, not even at ours.
That's serious right there. And what would you say makes this team unique from past Bishop Kenny teams that you've played on?
Um, well, I think that we're more talented than normal, but there's just a different mindset. Like when things don't go our way, we're not just gonna fall apart. Like we're competitors, and we're gonna keep fighting and try to win.
And you're now in your junior season, got one more season after this, and I feel like this season, you guys have been one of the best teams in the area, only lost one game. Approaching the playoffs, what's going to be the key to continuing this success as you got a tough couple games coming up. What's going to be the key to continuing the success that you've had?
Well, these next couple games are gonna be extremely tough, but if we get through them, those are gonna be we'll be ready for the playoffs. Like if we can get through these, we can get through anybody in the area.
And this season, I've been asking some fun questions. Instead of would you rather's, I've been doing which teammates. So I wanted to start off by asking you, which teammate would you say is the best gamer on the team?
Best gamer. Uh, I don't know. I don't play much video games. Uh, I've heard Price Watson. He's
Okay.
really good at Madden.
And I know you're a bit of a track star as well. You can run the football as well as pass. And in track, I mean, I'm how I don't know the exact stats, but I think you're pretty good at that too, from what I hear. Who would you say gives you the best competition if you had to race in like a 40-yard dash on the team?
I would say our running back Julian Deweese. I think he ran 11.2 last year.
And then I
So
think were you at like a 1093, I think I saw.
10.86.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't do that. But last question I got for you. Which teammate would you say deserves more credit for what he does on the field?
Um, I would say probably Colin Farhat, our offensive lineman, doesn't get much love, but probably one of the hardest workers on the team, always doing what he's supposed to do.
Well, that's all I got for you, James. I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me. And yeah, thanks.
Thank you for having me.
And go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Hey everyone, thank you for watching my interview with James Resar. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Follow, leave a good review if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform. But no matter what, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you here next time, here on Schlick Sports, made in the River City.